Got time to hang out with my family. Say hi, give hugs. Enjoy a wonderful dinner. Bacon, biscuits, scrambled eggs. Good stuff. Oh, it was delicious. I needed that. It was a very good dinner.
I have a problem.
My sister is here to complain about how much I liked her dinner. Yes, dear sister?
I have a problem.
What's the problem?
There was too much food.
Why was there so much food? Why did you cook so much food? Was it?
You looked like you were still hungry, and I ran out of room.
I will probably have this for breakfast if that's okay.
You looked like you were still hungry.
Here, hang on. To show off a little bit. I believe this is gravy, biscuits, and eggs, specifically here. Let me switch down to here. There you go. Look at that. That is solid. Sorry, sister. But I will probably have this for breakfast.
Well, I'm not going to take it back upstairs because the dog will eat it.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I'll keep it here and I'll be tortured by its smell as I'm beating the last stage.
You looked like you were still hungry.
Look.
You wolfed it down.
Look!
I'm telling you guys, he inhaled the dinner. He didn't chew. He didn't even really swallow.
I just Kirby'd it.
Yeah. And then it was... And he looked very much like he wanted more.
Listen. Wasn't anymore, so I had to leave without extra. Anyway, so.
I brought you more.
For real. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to go kill a lot of demons. Like a lot of demons. Is that okay?
They might be really good demons.
Good demons. You know what? Actually, that's fair. Let's go try and chat with one of these. Hey guys. Let's talk about our feelings. Come here. Come here. I just want to chat. I just want to have a chat. Okay? Okay, so he's definitely feeling a little bit out of headspace here right now. How about you? This is hard to do.
It's hard to talk to the demon.
It's so difficult. It's so much easier to just kill them. You didn't see that.
You can see you brutally gun them down.
It's fine. It's fine. He didn't feel anything in the last few seconds of his life.
He can know all things in the last few seconds.
One of the achievement is called Big Redacted Gun. And it's to use the BFG to kill 25 demons. You say that, Reggie, but evidence does not seem to agree with you. See? I could just do that. Reggie. Come here, Reggie. Come here. Come here, Reggie. Okay, Reggie's dead. Cool. See, this is what you get for continuing to support STO. Why would you do this? Why? I mean, it's just an event ship. I don't know what you were expecting. God, can you go away, please? Thank you. I was actually thinking about it. This is going to sound strange. If I had to monetize STO, if you put a gun to my head, what I would probably do is I'd make most of the purchasable ships primarily cosmetics and or consoles. And I would try to level the playing field on event and the free ships, essentially. The ships you can just earn through playing the game. Because, I mean, let's be honest, right now STO is very pay to win. The only reason it's not fully pay to win is because there's not much of a PvP scene. You know? I don't think I'm alone in not being in favor of that. That guy right there, he was in favor of pay to win. Actually, I remember. You probably don't remember this, Reggie, but I showed off PvP during the review. It was bad. That was only a couple of years ago. Oh yeah, no, the people who actually do PvP still in STO are the people who have absolutely min-maxed to hell and back. Pun intended. You know, the best part is I just realized the reason I probably have no real viewers right now, like I've got like 5 people watching, because everyone's like, oh, there's a third stream? Oh. Because, you know, I never do third streams unless there's a unique situation, like my sister forgetting what time it is. That's the real reason she called dinner early, by the way. She had started cooking, and by the time she realized, it was already, like, you know, 3 something. While some intelligence has been directly retrieved from Argent D'Nur, most of the details we have regarding this location have been extrapolated from decoded tablets and scriptures. Limited data from remote collection and information decrypted from the Corax tablets suggest this area's corrupted ruins of a lost realm, a world entirely conquered and absorbed into the Hell Dimension. The battle that was fought to claim this area is of great significance, as the spread of Hell's Dominion accelerated quickly upon absorption of this region. The Hell energy that emanates from this region passes through the dimensional tear and appears at Mars at the Argent Fracture. All falls before the command of Hell, for our powers absolute, our march to victory inevitable. Before our armies, even the elemental wraiths of Argent D'Nur were subjugated. In that great victory, the Night Sentinels, protectors of the race, were betrayed by one of their own, and the wretches wept as we devoured their world and took the well for our devices. None shall stand against us, for treachery resides in all things, and we shall set it free. And that's why this was inevitable, by the way. Olivia really is a good example of the fact that it only takes one rotten apple, rotting the whole barrel. Doubt myself. We'll keep going this way. Yeah, exactly. Once they're entrenched, they're like frickin' termites. It's not like you can't go through and kill them all. But it takes a minute. Most people don't have that minute. Sensing some hostility from these demons, maybe we should have a chat, discuss our feelings on the matter. So, demons, why is it that you want to kill me? Now, it might have been something I said. Words can be hurtful, and for that I can only apologize. If you could find it in your hearts... do you have hearts? You have a lot of blood, so you gotta have hearts, right? If you could find it in your hearts to forgive me, I'd appreciate it. And objective complete. Reg. You wanna go like our cheese, right? Get a little Swiss in there. Do some Gorgonzola. Oh, this feels like a lead up to something. I can't imagine what. You know, I don't know, Trixie. Well, there have been no confirmed sightings of these creatures. Much is known about them as they are revered by the demons that reference multiple times in all the explored areas of Hell. According to scriptures found in the Kadingir Sanctum, the wraiths are elemental beings that inhabit the realm of Argent D'Nur, a world that was colonized in the first age of Ascension. The wraiths were deified by the people of Argent D'Nur and protected by their fiercest warriors, the Night Sentinels. They are believed to have been imbued with a powerful energy. And yeah, in case you missed that, the lock and key on this thing, that thing right there, is being maintained by fueling from the souls of the Night Sentinels as they're being tortured. Because remember, pain specifically and directly leads to energy. That's what Argent energy is. What Hell energy is. Argent energy is a development of that. But whatever, we're getting off topic. It's me. That's a good point. You can tell your place in the demon hierarchy by whether or not you have to actually light all of the candles for them. You know you've done something bad when that's your job for the day. Do you not bring your sulfur odorant? Oh my god, go light the candles. Sulfodorant? Maybe just odorant. This is exactly for that. This is the wrong kind of blood. You're on candle duty. No, please. No. Stood there. Yes, Lord Harriman. Same character. Oh, absolutely, Reggie. You know that they follow attention. Pay attention to meta builds and, like, build around that, right? I mean, I remember when the first wizard build came out, or the first mage build, whatever they called it originally. And then all of a sudden, just mage ships and consoles just started popping up all over the place. They know. Science ships are ridiculous. There they are. Come on, I need two of you suckers. Come here. A buddy, huh? Do you have a buddy? Are you friendless? Are you maidenless? I can fix that. I don't think Doomguy could solo Warcraft. He's very high tier, don't mistake me, but I would personally put him a little bit lower tier than Samus Aran. Now, don't mistake me, both of them could hang in Warcraft, but the whole setting of Warcraft is pretty high tier. Oh, he'd cause some damage. I'm not trying to say he wouldn't. The really funny part is he would only have motivation to go after one group, and, well, honestly, that's just fine. Let him go for it. Some people have been saying 4 hours, Colgrim. I'm hesitant. Because honestly, we tend to sit and talk a little bit more than most people. And you know we're going to have stuff to talk about. I don't think he'd be at Kil'jaeden's level. I mean, Kil'jaeden is one of the strongest things in the setting. Was one of the strongest things in the setting. The elemental wraiths, if they do exist in Argent D'Nor, have no doubt been corrupted by the power of hell. However, descriptions of the beasts suggest they were terrifying in their own form before any demonization occurred. The protection of these beasts was both a measure to harness the power they generated and a defense against them. Hence the need for a warrior order to serve as protectors rather than simple priest caste. Several tablets describe the worship of the wraiths as a necessity to avoid their wrath, and the Ungmar Codex specifically states that the wraith call, the sign of the approaching wraith, caused panic and terror amongst the people of Argent D'Nor. It's also possible that some sacrificial ceremonies were attached to the worship of the wraiths. I mean, that would probably be a full 25-man raid right there, I thought. Despite what I just said, Doomguy would probably be like the end boss of a raid, you know? Either that or he'd be the barrier boss. The boss raid guilds have trouble with the most. Oftentimes the second to last boss fight in a raid. He just runs up to your tank, and your tank's dead. What happened? Well, your tank is dead. No, what happened? Maybe you weren't listening. What's happening? I think I killed a few things. Yeah, he glory kills people and gets back health. If I was designing a Doomguy raid boss, what I'd probably do is a mechanic they've had since BC. The idea is, depending on who he kills, he gains abilities based on their class, in other words. So, for example, he kills a warrior and he just, like, whips out this gargantuan spectral axe thing and just starts going to town with it. And yeah, if anybody's health gets below a certain part, he just instantly warps to them and kills them in one shot. So the healers have to not just keep everyone healed, they have to keep everyone high in health. He does tons of unavoidable damage, so the healers are busy constantly. I can't believe that hit. I bet nobody even saw that shot. Summon ads? No, Doomguy doesn't have ads. There is, however, an optional hard mode, like back in the Wrath days. At the beginning of the raid encounter, there's a bunny over on the side. Nope, just a little bunny named Daisy. It just sits there innocently. But before the fight, you can go over and kill it first. Actually, now you got me thinking. You know what might be cool? So, WoW has experimented with this a few times, where you're not actually trying to kill the boss, technically. You're trying to accomplish something else with the boss. The first time they experimented with that was back in Wrath with Valeithria. But they've done a few things like that over the years, like the Mother fight, where you're not fighting Mother at all, you're just cleansing the area. Okay. So, picture the Doomguy fight as kind of like an extended roaming, you're pushing through an arena fight. I'm trying to think of how you do that exactly. Because the ideal would be for the players to be critical to the process. But I'm trying to think of how to do that without Doomguy just dying. Although, he does have very little health. Like, I know that sounds weird, but canonically, if he gets hit, he falls over quickly. But that just sounds like a typical escort fight, so I want something trickier there. Something more gimmicky. Maybe the players have to attack... No. Okay, so the players split up into groups, right? And they go into these little side arena areas, and the players in there, they have to actually break out demons. And every demon they break out rushes the Doomslayer, and that's what heals him. So the players have to balance killing enough enemies to make sure that he's getting the mobs he needs to heal and keep going and keep his ammo count high. But also, they don't want to overwhelm him, because you can also overwhelm him and get him killed. I'm liking that idea. That would be a coordination fight at that point. Okay, hang on. Group 6, hold on. Group 6. Don't send any demons through. Okay, group 5, go ahead and pop yours. Hey, Pillars of Snow. No, exactly, Lord Harima. That's exactly the direction I was thinking. Our goal is kind of to escort him, but like in an awesome way. In a way that requires coordination and finesse and makes him look like a badass and makes us be a badass by helping him. And then if you kill Daisy, you fight him and you die. That's achievement. Well, okay. Let's do this. Oh, that'd be even more interesting. So you have to send enemies through, but you also have to weaken them. It's like a double coordination fight. What I would probably do is I'd make that a thing in like Heroic or Mythic. So in normal mode, you kill enemies and the weakened version of them goes through and he heals off of them. But in Mythic and Heroic, they retain the health when you send them through. Like there's an additional mechanic to send them into the fight. Illidan. I mean, the icon would make sense, ignoring the iconography. Also an ad fight. Further reading from the Codex. The Night Sentinels stood strong against our legions. Conquest of Argent D'Nur, empowered by Wraith energy, was foiled at every turn. Yet in our darkest hour came a lowly hell priest, Daeg Grav, and in his guidance a weakness in a heathen of the Night Sentinels was found. Do me a favor and remember that name. Daeg Grav is going to come up in the next game. The bargain was struck thus. For the return of the betrayer's only son, lost on the battlefield, Daeg Grav must be taken to the source of their power, the elemental wraiths. Led there by the wretched betrayer, Daeg Grav and his cabal set a curse upon the wraiths as they slept, and used their essences for their own devices. With the power of the wraiths they formed the well with that which brings us upon our enemies, and thus the city of Argent fell, and their false gods fell under the unholy might of the hell priests. For his payment, the betrayer's son was returned to him in our form, and the icon of sin was brought upon the heathens. His vengeance was swift and merciless, for the wages of treachery are suffering. With the fall of Argent D'Nur, their realm was taken into ours, their temples and ruins and rock and edifice, all absorbed into our realm, and taken as trophies of our triumph. This is what I was talking about earlier. Hell literally, whatever this place is called, literally assimilates other worlds. And that's how it sustains itself. So all this ruined stuff, this is not here. We'll see stuff that's from here, native to here, in the next game. So there's the Sentinels. Last line of dialogue.
They promised me so much.
The wages of treachery are suffering. Ah, it doesn't work. Oh yeah, Spider Mastermind. Howdy. You know, that's actually a good question, Pillars of Snow. There's some interpretive stuff going on here, but it is my personal interpretation that this really is her in every sense that matters. This is her reward for her loyalty. You got a new body, lady. You're probably going to be in pain forever, though, so enjoy that. Yeah, there's a reason they give you, like, full ammo and armor and everything before walking into this fight. Also, did you notice direct shots from the BFG actually do stun her? I would say she gets the better body than Bertruger. Bertruger's body, that was just weird. We killed him with his own artifact. Notice she's starting to have issues. Because I can. Open wide. Hello, Hayden.
It's over. You stopped the invasion and closed the portal. But it's come at a price. Argent, Vega, this entire operation. You see, I've watched your work, come to understand your motivation. You think the only way is to kill them all, leave nothing behind. And you may be right. But we can't just shut it all down. Without Argent energy, it will be worse. I don't expect you to agree. But with this, we can continue our work. I am not the villain in this story. I do what I do because there is no choice.
Rerouting tether coordinates complete.
Our time is up. I can't kill you, but I won't have you standing in our way. Until we see each other again.
And we will. So, that was Doom 4. Usually I don't like these kind of to be continued sort of outros. But that one works for me more than not. Might be a little bit biased because it actually does have a follow-through. Plus, it's fully in character. I'm not so sure about that, Loke. I do think he really was... I think he really believed what he says. I agree with that. I think it's not sunk cost fallacy. I think he is fully committed to the cause. However, I do acknowledge, and this is one of the things I love about Hayden, he is still sufficiently intelligent to recognize that actually being our opponent is not something that's in anyone's good interests. So he's just like, listen, I'm going to take this. You go do you. He even acknowledges that we may be right, that maybe the correct choice here is to just wipe the board. We were in an interdimensional tether. It's kind of like being in the middle of a transporter in Star Trek. You can't, despite what Star Trek likes to do, you can't do anything while you're in the middle of dimensions, because you're in the middle of dimensions. That's how that works. It was actually set up pretty early on with the tether. For all of its issues, I do like that last boss. We're gonna go ahead and give that boss a positive. That's much more debatable, though. He's definitely an antagonist, but... Let's see, 3 bosses? Yeah, that sounds right. There's the Guardian thing, I can't remember the name of. The Cyber Demon and the... the Cyber Demon and the Spider Mastermind. I'm right, there's 3. Don't worry, if you want to see boss negatives, wait until we get to Doom 5. Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up, Lunarith, because you're right. Most people didn't really think this game was going to explode the way it did. But they still left it on a bit of a to-be-continued. If I were to guess, I'd say they were just leaving the door open in general. We do know that they didn't really know where they were going with the story yet in this one. That's why I keep saying this over and over and over. Doom 5 is the one where we'll finally talk about continuity, because it was the only game that actually considered continuity. We'll see, Blade Javal. Doom 5 is a lot like Final Fantasy X-2, or Final Fantasy X, or Final Fantasy 12. I love Doom 5, but... asterisk, asterisk, asterisk. Yes, it's the game we'll be playing tomorrow, Venters. Original music written and produced by Mick Gordon. I've said. And now I get to be boring. My favorite part of the job. I love being boring. You see why I wanted to do a third stream tonight. It was just 40 minutes. This would have been ridiculous. Yes, Doom 5, sometimes referred to as Doom Eternal. That's right, it's time for the boring man. Pretty high, Pillars of Snow. Not the highest, but very high. Can't do it, Trihex. I refuse. I refuse. I'd rather die than read that. The real answer is because I've got to do paperwork, but just for you. The first Project Lazarus tethering operation retrieved a small compendium from the Umbral Plains in the crypt of a destroyed tower of unknown construction. This Vade Mecum was mostly illegible, but it did contain one of the rare references to the Aranea Imperatix, a mystical demon that's still largely unknown. When the gate is opened in the Fourth Age, we will have risen and the Masters have shown us the path she will become. A great blessing will be given to the keyholder, for they will become one with the Master. And in that holy union, the power of the Dark Priest will be unleashed upon the heretics of the Penumbral Plane, the Aranea Imperatrix. Carried in the mind of all who follow, fed from the blood of those who fell, made with the bone of rock, iron, steel, and sinew. A mighty god to rule over other gods. One become two, become legion. Is there just no music right now? Oh, there it is. Probably Trithon. Probably. So, some of you probably know I've been following Masahiro Sakurai's YouTube channel as he's been doing little tidbits on game design. And it's just, if I can be honest about this, it's really satisfying seeing a well-respected, experienced game designer agree with me on so many elements of game design. Anyways, he just released a video 10 hours ago called No Masterpiece Has Bad Audio. Anyways. Oh, this should be a fun one. This is a commentary by Tomato Angus.
Tomato Angus also.
Hang on, one second. These should be fun because he usually explains the speedrun as it's going.
Also known as Needlepeen, and this is a segmented any percent speedrun of Doom 2016. This run is actually performed by Seeker, the current any percent world record holder for Doom. He also worked with me on writing the commentary for this run to make sure that all the explanations are as accurate as possible. If you would like to watch either this segmented run without commentary or Seeker's current any percent world record, which is also commentary free, there are links in the description below. Also, with this being any percent, glitches are allowed. If you would prefer a run without glitches, I would recommend you watch a speedrun of the 100% Ultra Nightmare category, which is a category that relies much less on glitches than any percent. There's a link in the description to the current world record run of it, performed by Bite Me. It's also worth noting that the any percent run is performed on a completely up-to-date version of the game. Everything you see in this run can still be done on any version of the game. The run starts just as any other playthrough of the game would, with the Doomslayer awakening from his sarcophagus and escaping from his binds to kill the nearby Possessed. After all three Possessed are killed, we're going to fire our gun continually until we activate a short scene. The reasons for this is by continually shooting our weapon, it will skip the slow animation of inspecting your pistol after killing the Possessed. After the scene ends, the doors open and we position ourselves in a corner before running forward and performing what's referred to as a paper clip. A lot of the walls in the game are paper thin and the player is able to clip through them by just wiggling back and forth, hence the paper clip. Once out of bounds, we make a beeline to the end of the level, skipping pretty much everything with a series of well-timed jumps. When speedrunning the game, binding jump to scrolling the mouse wheel will actually cause for you to jump slightly higher than a normal jump. This is because when you scroll, the game reads it as multiple jump inputs, so as you're lifting off the ground from your first jump, the game causes you to jump again since you're so close to the ground, giving you just a tad extra height. Once back in bounds, we need to get into the elevator and ride it to outside, but unfortunately the doors are closed. Luckily, walls are merely a suggestion, and we can position ourselves in a precise spot and interact with the button inside the elevator, which will immediately begin the elevator ride. At this point, you may have noticed the FPS counter in the top right corner. During cutscenes, it's limited to 60, but during most moments throughout the game is running at 200 frames per second. This is the frame rate that Doom is naturally capped at when playing on PC, and is attainable by turning off VSync and doing things like lowering your graphics and changing the graphics API to Vulkan. Playing at 200 FPS is very important in Doom for one reason: rail boosting. In a moment, you'll see what a rail boost is as we launch ourselves to the end of the first mission. Rail boosting is actually pretty simple to perform. All you have to do is find an object like a railing or an object that can serve as a proxy, and jump while near it, and begin holding W while you're in the air. This will cause for you to launch through the air with incredible velocity. This trick absolutely requires a high frame rate, and if attempted at a lower one, you either won't be able to perform the trick, or you won't have a ton of speed when doing it. Once we arrive at the end of the level, we interact with the touchpad and begin holding Enter to automatically skip the end of level stats screen. While this level may have looked fairly easy, I can assure you it's actually really hard. Seeker is what one might call a god gamer, and pretty much makes Doom call him its daddy. The second level begins with us meeting my #1 frick in all of gaming, Vega. He lets us know all about the Praetor suit, which you may have noticed we're wearing now despite having completed the first level naked. After Vega finishes his speech, Seeker is going to immediately leave the room and jump through the next room, which prevents him from getting stuck on the ground since it is a bit uneven in this area, and also look left the whole time to avoid imp spawns. He's then going to stand against the door and damage a possessed as it approaches him. Once it gets close enough, he's going to hurt the possessed just a little more so that he's able to perform a glory kill on it. Then, with precise positioning and timing, Seeker will perform a specific glory kill animation next to the door, which miraculously will clip him through and put him out of bounds. From there, Seeker will be able to then progress all the way through the rest of the level to the finish. Along the way, he's going to grab a heavy assault rifle. You'll notice that he's able to grab the rifle from a mile away, despite the Doomslayer having pretty stubby arms. This is a trick called Extendo Grab. If you bind your weapon mod to the scroll wheel and look at an interactable object, scrolling the wheel in that direction will bring up the prompt for interacting with the object. This is used several times throughout the run, like grabbing the rifle here, as well as trying to use it to interact with the touchpads at the end of each level early, as we do our best Inspector Gadget impersonation. The third level of the game is called Foundry, and begins with Vega telling us more about the Praetor suit. As Vega continues his dialogue, Seeker is sure to stand a decent distance away from the door. The reason for this is that there's an invisible trigger closer to the door. If Seeker stands in the trigger when the level begins, none of the demons will spawn in the next room due to some checkpoint shenanigans. Similarly, if Seeker is standing too far away from the door, then the door won't open because he has to be past a trigger that opens the door. When Vega finishes his dialogue, the bad man is going to give us a little speech, at the end of which the door will open to the next room. As the door is opening, we load the game from the checkpoint, which skips the animation of the door opening. Seeker then immediately runs into the next room over and grabs the micro missile weapon modification before loading another The micro missiles are going to be used all throughout the run as a method to damage boost ourselves both forward for extra speed and up for extra jump height. When we load back in, Seeker then begins clearing out enemies in the area and setting up another glory kill clip. This one is a bit more complicated of a setup, but Seeker was sure to lather himself up with some butter before this attempt and slides right through the wall. In the next room, we use a quick rail boost to launch ourselves over the forges and onto a landing across the room. From here, we're able to jump onto some small ledges and pull ourselves up onto some crossbeams, where we do another paperclip via the patented wiggle method. We're then able to finish off the level with another series of precise out-of-bounds movement, followed by jumping back in bounds and accessing the touchpad. One little speed strat that's employed throughout this game is that when moving throughout the level, we never want to strafe. Whenever we're moving...
To interrupt really quick, why would they patch it, Linearith? What would be the benefit of doing so? Like, I know that sounds like a strange statement. We've seen developers over the many years who pretty much flat out said, unless it's like a game-breaking thing, like a crash-happy thing, what's the point in patching it? Let the speedrunners have their day. Let people play around with it in challenge runs. Why not?
We only want to hold one directional button at a time. If you hold multiple buttons and begin to strafe, you actually move at a lower velocity than if you hold just one directional button. This next level is the Argent Facility and is actually my favorite level in the speedrun. The level begins by picking up the nearby plasma rifle, followed by jumping from some stairs into the ceiling of the level.
Their world. You can prevent her from opening the gate by disabling the tower.
From here, Seeker is able to bypass having to wait for
This is actually,
Samuel Hayden.
really, Plutonia? Why? No, I have not, Doctor. I was about to bring up an example of a game dev that does like to patch out speedrunning glitches, only on more modern games, so they didn't do that for the older stuff. Bethesda.
In to give his full speech and open the doors, and enter the main area of the level immediately. Seeker will then jump across the canyon and stand in a precise spot before performing a rail boost that will send him to the final room of the level. At the beginning of the next level, Argent Energy Tower, the first objective is to get the thrust boots from a nearby room. We're going to perform a quick micro-missile boost to accelerate our retrieval of them, after which we perform a rail boost to launch ourselves to the platform above us. When we finally grab the thruster boots, we wait for the animation to play out until we turn the left boot towards us, at which point we load from checkpoint to skip the remainder of the animation and save some time. Once we load back in, we perform the same rail boost again and then perform a big boy rail boost to launch ourselves all the way up the Argent Tower. When Seeker lands, he's sure to hit a checkpoint in the main room, after which he drops down the elevator shaft to grab a secret Gauss cannon. With the Gauss cannon obtained, he'll then reload from checkpoint to be back in the main room he just boosted to. When he loads in, Seeker is going to turn around and perform a Gauss boost, which is performed by facing away from the direction you want to go, jumping, and shooting the Gauss cannon. The recoil of the gun is so great that it launches him with a high velocity. Whenever performing a Gauss boost though, Seeker is sure to not hold any directional buttons, as that will actually cause him to slow down. Also, if Seeker jumps the moment he lands after a Gauss boost, he will perform a bunny hop and conserve most of his momentum, allowing for him to continue traveling at a high speed. After a brief back and forth with Olivia Pierce, she proceeds to do Lord knows what, which knocks us back. Seeker then has to kill enough demons to trigger the Category 3 dimensional event, which has a countdown tied to it. After the countdown says 6, Seeker grabs the invulnerability power-up and jumps down into the middle of the Argent Tower, and drops all the way down to a platform near the bottom. When he lands, he's going to Gauss boost to an Argent energy cell and level up his ammo capacity, after which the level will end and he will be brought to hell. As he's grabbing the Argent energy cell, the timer to finish the level begins, despite him having not killed any additional enemies from the ones he initially fought. This is believed to be due to the fact that when he jumped all the way down to this room, he hit a trigger that caused a bunch of enemies to spawn behind the first door he passes when he's falling, which spawns additional enemies, causing for the game to hit a max cap on enemies in the same map. This then causes for the already spawned enemies to be removed, which the game sees as a kill in this instant, thus ending the initial arena combat section. If you haven't been a fan of all of the Out of Bounds so far, but are still sticking around in hopes that the integrity of the speedrun will soon be saved with long combat sections and playing the game as intended, then you're in luck, because this level is actually played exactly as id Software intended. As normal, when the level begins, we perform a couple Gauss boosts to get going through the level. Then, we're gonna stop and use an extendo grab to teleport us up onto a platform above us. We then use a Gauss boost and a micro missile boost to launch ourselves high enough to pull ourselves up onto an invisible ledge, after which we proceed to Gauss boost while we're several hundred meters in the air. We're able to do this all the way to the end of the level as intended and just walk through the walls of the final room to access the touchpad and finish the level. I gotta say, that level is a testament to the brilliance of the developers over at id. I mean, flying through the air on invisible platforms, who even comes up with this stuff?
And that's Tomato Angus, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to interrupt here really quick because I'm actually almost done. Here, I'll give a link to the speedrun if anybody wants to actually watch it in their own time. So, I was going to ask you guys something. Replayability. How are we feeling? Does it? That's what I was thinking, Trithon. It's certainly a fun game, and I could easily swing a replay positive here, but probably only the one, really. Before we jump into that... glitchability, maybe? New category. So there's arcade mode. Okay. That's a good question, Trithon. We're going to find out in a second here. Part of the reason that I sound like I'm coming down on Doom Eternal is because even though Doom Eternal does a lot right, and let's be clear, it does, Doom Eternal definitely tries more and definitely is going to get more negatives. For example, you notice we've given no story negatives to Doom 4. But that's because, like some other games we can name, there's not much of a plot. Mostly what we have is presentation characters. Minimal presentation, or minimal characterization, but very efficient characterization, right? We establish a lot in very few scenes with very few lines. Now, we know that the reason for that is because the writer was very under the gun and could only do a couple of things after most of the game was already completed. So we had to graft the story onto the game. But he took that challenge, this is Gascoigne, he took that challenge, ran with it, and actually decided to really get... no, I'm not alt-tabbed, it appears to be stuck. I don't know what's going on here. And just did a really solid job with it, right? When you only have one line of dialogue, you want to make that work, right? Doom Eternal has much more focus on plot, world building, and continuity, for good and for bad. So we're going to have a lot more dialogue, we're going to have a lot more story events, we're going to learn a lot more about the setting and how things operate. I've already referenced a lot of these things throughout this entire run. It moved 1%, oh my god. Now I'm going to alt-tab, because I got other things to do. This is irritating, because I kind of need to see this in order to, you know, get to the game. This is the, essentially this is mod support for all intents and purposes of the snap mode, which is not loading at all. I need to stop eating these eggs. Oh. 1 more percent! Oh my god! This might be a negative at this point, Jesus. Here's a fun factoid. I do think some of the other Doom games had better encounter design, notably 64 and 1. However, this game had much better guidance and exploration, HUD, itemization, intro. But here's the big one. So, most FPS games get 1+ to kit. Several have gotten 2. 2 have gotten 3. Halo Reach and Titanfall 2. This one got 6. Level design. Doom 1 actually got 12 pluses to level design. No. However, it also got 10 negatives to level design. This game got 12 positives and 2 negatives. I'm going to be honest, I don't want to mess with this too much. I just want to see what kind of mod support we've got here. There we go. Yeah, it's a create your own arena thing. This is pretty basic. And yeah, I know there's a complexity limiter. Honestly, this might only be a single positive for mod support. Just general. This is not great. Oh, I'm good, thanks. How, Reggie? Do I want to know? Are we about to kill Dominoes? Game. There we go. Oh my god, we're so slow. Oh my god, we're slow. There we go. Okay. Depends, but yes, I have liked Dominoes. So, wow, you're just throwing me against a bunch of decent level enemies with a pistol. Sure. Oh, that's interesting. Neat. Yeah. Game. 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 There it goes. Sure. Put that under novelty. Okay. I decided after some thought to go and give the triple to Yoshi Drums. I was kind of mentally weighing it against Devil May Cry 5, which is our other triple Yoshi Drums game. But I think it qualifies. Could someone type !guess really quick, please, to save me a quick thing? Thank you. What's really funny, this game is only a little bit shorter than Doom 3, but it sure felt a lot shorter. Which I suppose goes back to what I've been saying for years now. Okay. So, here's the real question. Did this beat Modern Warfare 2? Yeah, no kidding, Seth. Give me one moment to tally up some of the final things here real quick. So, forgive me for the delay. Plus 31 to story. That is in fact the second highest story score we have ever given an FPS, surpassed only by Modern Warfare 2. That is 2.5 pluses per hour and a ratio of 100%. Gameplay-wise, plus 59 to gameplay. That is the highest gameplay score we've ever given an FPS, with 4.9 pluses per hour and a ratio of 86%. Modern Warfare 2 got a 239.02. This game got, can I get a drum roll, please? $200 42.42. That is 3.4 difference between this and Modern Warfare 2. But this game does take that in the end. Just barely. But it did win. Doom 4 is our current best FPS that we have covered to date. And I'm going to be real. With the possible exception of the next game we're covering, I'm not sure anything else can match that. Like, Modern Warfare 2 and Doom 4 are kind of the kings of FPSs, in a off the top of my head kind of a way. So I'm not sure anything else is ever going to be in that striking range. With one possible exception. I got a bunch of paperwork to do, and I've got to deal with this plate of delicious food in front of me. But tomorrow, at roughly 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to play Doom Eternal. I have no idea how the game's going to review. So, I'll see you there.